Neil Gaiman resurrects one of Doctor Who's deadliest villains, while the episode crosses paths with Jurassic Park, Willy Wonka, and Star Trek The Next Generation, plus spoilers for the Series 7 finale, Resistance is Futile.
Behold, the enemy!
Cyberman, get down!
Hey everybody, so Neil Gaiman's Nightmare in Silver episode just aired. I don't know if I liked it quite as much as The Doctor's Wife last season, but let's talk about some of the fun stuff first. So I really loved that it was such a steampunky space sci-fi episode, and the Doctor got to play this crazy Willy Wonka character. I mean, isn't Willy Wonka just an analog for the Doctor, only instead of time and space, it's just rivers of chocolate and Oompa Loompas? I didn't really think of the Jurassic Park Cybermen Run Amok storyline as being super scary as much as it was just a little bit silly, especially the reveal of the Cybermen. If it hadn't have been for that Kenny Baker R2-D2 Warwick Davis moment operating the Cybermen, I think it would have been a lot scarier.
Hello.
Speaking of the chess aspects of the episode, I really didn't like those parts of the story as much as I thought I would. I tended to focus more on the meta aspects of the narrative and the fact that there was such a dark tone to the episode.
Look up there. That corner of sky, what do you see?
Nothing.
I felt like Warwick Davis set the stakes for the episode when he showed Clara that gaping hole in the universe. Speaking of Star Trek Borg comparisons, if you remember in Star Trek The Next Generation, there was actually an episode where they had the opportunity to eradicate the Borg with a virus. I felt like this episode dealt with that issue just as well, except that in this episode, Warwick Davis's character is the Captain Picard. I felt like the aspect of him being the Emperor wasn't really necessary to him being such a compelling character.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Matt Smith was in rare form, playing against himself, which he does in a lot of episodes anyway. I feel like he keeps inventing new Trog Rock dances every time he gets the chance.
If you just relax, you will find this a perfectly pleasant experience.
Let me know in the comments what we should call as dance moves in this episode. So everyone's coming down really hard on this episode, and I really feel like it's just because there's so many characters. In The Doctor's Wife, the reason why people loved it so much is because we make such an emotional connection with Idris, and I feel like Gaiman has a much harder time in this episode just because the cast is so large. Overall, I give the episode a B just because I love Neil Gaiman so much I can't bring myself to give him a minus on anything. I know earlier I mentioned I didn't like the chess scenes quite as much. If you remember in Daniel Craig's Casino Royale, I feel like they do tension really well in scenes where they're just playing cards. It's really quiet, there's not a lot of dialogue, but you don't need dialogue. That being said, write in the comments if you think this episode would have been more interesting if the Doctor had really just been playing chess that whole time with a steel Cyberman instead of the Borg Doctor.
You're playing chess with yourself.
I'm winning.
I did feel like Matt Smith's interpretation of this Borg Doctor was fairly authentic, given that the tone of the episode was pretty silly. And I always appreciate the Star Trek Next Generation references whenever they're used real well. If you're a big fan of Neil Gaiman like I am, I'll be doing a preview for his American Gods HBO show sometime in the next couple of weeks. Subscribe to get it. Think of it like Game of Thrones only from the gods' perspective and in modern day. Enough Cybermen, on to the finale.
There is one place you must never go.
So the BBC has released the prequel episode, She Said, He Said, and the Next Time On trailer for The Name of the Doctor. They don't really tell us anything we don't already know about the finale, but I do have a few spoilers. Clara will be swapping costumes a lot, which means that we might see a few different versions of the Clara character. We'll get to see Strax on his day off. Turns out he likes to go to Glasgow. The child actors from the end of Crimson Horror, Angie and Artie, will make an appearance in the episode. The story will actually take place from Gallifrey to Trenzalore, meaning that most of his timelines probably converge at Trenzalore. Most of the episode will take place in Victorian era. If you remember, the Whispermen in the trailer are dressed in Victorian garb. Dr. Simeon is there. Strax, Jenny, and Vostra are also there. Since we know the Doctor's friends are all being kidnapped, a la Vostra, Jenny, Strax, that probably means that the Great Intelligence is responsible for that, because that is also part of the Victorian storyline. Be sure to watch next weekend and write in the comments what you think of the finale. I'm really excited for it. Don't forget, we also have the 50th anniversary episode coming up this year, so I'll also be doing videos regularly, spoiling things for that, and talking about the Christmas episode, as well as stuff for Season 8. In the meantime, you can catch up on Doctor Who by clicking here, and you can find out about Robert Downey Jr. coming back for Avengers 2 and 3 and Man of Steel spoilers by clicking here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you for Game of Thrones this weekend. Bye!